Hey Jake, how you doing, man?
Hello, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Are you ready for some camping?
I am so ready for camping right now, you wouldn't believe it.
So should we go over what we brought?
I think so. That's always
What
good
do you
to
have
play.
there?
Well, this is my tried and true High Sierra cup. What are you sporting there?
Well, I brought my camping stove with me, and this is the part that goes on top of the stove.
So that's slick.
But I filled it up with some coffee.
Yep.
Well, I made some coffee.
Made some
from
camp
some
coffee.
beans I found in the wilderness. We have an invisible water filter.
That is pretty chill. I brought my mess kit. I mean, this thing is
An
ancient,
invisible
man.
lighter.
Invisible lighter.
Duct tape.
If
in case
anything
things
goes
go
wrong,
bad.
yeah, who knows how this is going to turn out.
And we have
I got some food that is kind of see-through.
your entire backpack.
Yep, we're ready to go. I think we're ready to get
So
into
what are we
this.
doing here on this camping trip, right?
Well, we're going to go over, we have to prepare for this camping trip. So we're going to
Yeah.
use Bluebeam to start us off right and get us into preparing for our camping and our adventure in here. So Jake and I are going to go ahead and do. So welcome everybody. This is Camping with Bluebeam, but really we're going to go over a lot of the features. Are you getting warm, man?
It's a little. I'm just invisible.
You're just invisible.
Yeah, I don't want to be invisible.
That's his camouflage. He's
Yeah.
out there in the wilderness blending in. But we're going to go over Bluebeam and a lot of things with Bluebeam Revu that you can do out there. And instead of trying to focus on a one particular discipline out there, or the owner, or just the contractor, we're going to cover camping because I don't know about anybody else out there, but I love camping. What about you, Jake?
I love camping. We are located in Boulder, Colorado.
Exactly.
We have to love camping.
So here we have the nice Grand Tetons out there, and this is going to be our dashboard that we kind of prepared to help us go through this. So Jake and I are going to take you through this in here, and we got these lovely Tetons out there. And we can click on those and see, hey, there's like a little camping trip. So this is me at Yellowstone out there. I don't know if anybody can see that, but we got that Yellowstone picture. So, different little hidden things that you can put out there. All right, so first thing, before we get started, we gotta come up with a shopping list. All right?
Absolutely.
So
Just quickly, everyone that's on the live stream right now, tell us who's out there. Where
you guys are
Where you're at in
from.
the world. We love hearing from you guys.
And your favorite camping spot.
And your favorite place to camp.
Yeah, that would be a great thing to see. So, what about you? Where do you like going camping?
The Rocky Mountains, down near Durango, I think.
Durango's a great
the
place.
San Juan Mountain Range is probably my favorite camping.
Oh yeah,
trip.
I love that place. It's
Yeah.
a really good place to go. I used to live near Yosemite, so that's still one of my favorite places.
Oh,
yeah.
God, I want to go there.
And I used to backpack all the time, man. So we're gonna get at it. Anybody chiming in yet?
Not yet.
No,
but we'll
man.
get there.
So we'll wait for everything to catch up right now. All right. So before you go camping, before you go backpacking, good thing to have is that shopping list. You got to be prepared. You got to make sure you have all your items on there. So we can see we click on this and we got that link and we have everything we need to. So, here's our list, but this is coming from Word and it's kind of we have to like type everything in and then go over here and click the field and do type and type. Okay, Jake's gonna take care of this, type of thing. And it's a little cumbersome to do. So instead of doing that for the forms, we could go out there and make a form out of this, which is pretty cool. Well, now they have inside of here, if we go into our tools, we can go down into forms and we could fill out all these different types of tools, or we could go over here on the left side and put in some different form works in there. So if I wanted to, I can go in here and put a text field in there and say this is a sign field, and then if I wanted to, I could put your name in there and have that inside. But instead of doing that, they have this awesome thing they built. So we go over here to tools and we go into forms and we can say automatic create forms and fields. So once I put that in there, it's going to go through, it's going to read all these different fields in there.
No
and you can
way.
see, yep. And
I'm learning as we go along here.
So
that's crazy.
So you could like just spend a ton of time doing that on your own, or here now, and it reads like here. It read that this was the word date, and it filled that in for me. It did a little check mark box.
So you could So I see this as maybe like a punch list on a job site.
Exactly. Or you have those different types of fields. You're doing a safety report, or you want to know what it was for that day of the pour. So you're out there. You have to do all these logs, right? We're constantly going in there and logging. What the day was, what the weather was, what happened on site. website, and everybody gets sick of filling these out.
But what I like about this is you don't have to recreate your forms. You just put them in Bluebeam.
Hit a button.
Hit the magic button,
Yeah.
and then you're updated.
Yeah,
You're
so then we
ready
can
to
go in there and kind of fill these out. Now we can see we got sleeping bags, we got that little porta potty, and we got all kinds of different items in here. And if anybody has any questions while we're going through this, just start asking them, and we'll answer it for you as we're going along. So we have this form creation, we can put that in here. And as we go into these different areas, we can go in and kind of spell out what those forms are. So there might be actions that are doing these calculated values. So I'm actually going to cheat. I'm going to go down below. I've got this form we already did. Oh, by the way, it recognized that this was a signature field and automatically created that signature field for us in there.
Just draw right in.
Yeah, it'll let you, well, it opens up the signature dialog that you have to go fill out saying, hey, we're complete, we did this form, we got it all in here. So I kind of, with the Magic of Hollywood, I kind of already filled this out, Jake, and I said, hey, we got it in there.
You assigned everything to me.
There's me, there's Juge and Jake, I got last names in there. So we're not going to take a porta potty, we just whited that out. We're going to go in there and shovel in toilet paper, right?
We're getting asked, is this the extreme version that we're using of these features?
That is a great question. So yes, a lot of what we have in here for the forms function is part of the extreme version. So you're going to need the extreme version for creating forms. And there's going to be a couple other features that I'm going to show that take advantage of the extreme version. But most of what I'm going to show you in this dialogue is either taking place with the CAD or the standard that you can use for that. So all of you out there, the form creation, that is a feature that is part of Extreme. And we're going to see a number of other features that you have to have Extreme in there. Well, the nice thing is, though, only one person needs to make these forms, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't everybody doesn't need to make them.
Once you make it in Extreme, you can view it.
In anything.
In anything.
And it could be in an Adobe, it can be whatever field you want. You don't have to use even Bluebeam Revu to fill this out, but you just need Bluebeam Revu Extreme to make the form.
So I used to work in a VDC department for a large mechanical contractor, and I created a form for them where basically they would give them to the project managers, and the project manager would fill it out to request what they needed BIMmed, if you will.
Yeah.
And what version and what detail level and all that, and then we use Bluebeam to just go back and forth real quick.
Yeah, so we can put that in here. So here I have a simple pull down, but if I wanted to, I could get to those different types of pull downs in there. Let's see if I can fire this up. So I'm going to go in there and grab that particular one. So if I get to the drop down in here, this second drop down, what we can go in there and do under the options is I can create a different item in here. So let's say I have these two pull downs. It's either Jake or Juge that's going to fill that out. But let's say we have a different person out there. Let's just say Tony's joining us. I don't know if Tony's out there, but we're going to add Tony to the list, and we're going to give him a value in there because we could say that each one of these. Whoops, I can put that in.
Tony said he would be out there.
Tony should be out there, so I'm going to put Tony out there. I'm going to put him in there. Say hi, Tony, if you're out there. And so now we have Tony to the list. So Tony's going to go out there and provide that toilet paper now. So now we have the three of us as we're going through this list that we can start filling out and start assigning those tasks and what's going on in here.
So just to clarify, you only need one person with Extreme, and should that be my senior personnel?
No, actually, I don't. It's not always the senior personnel. A lot of the Extreme features that you have are like what I like to call low-hanging fruit. You hit a button, you twiddle your thumbs, and then something happens. Now, if it's forms, that's a different story. You want to have someone who kind of knows how to do the forms and fill this out. This is a very basic way of using forms. But I've seen this done in the past where we've done this for, let's say, electrical contractor, pulling wire, what sub-panels are going to go through. And this actually goes in there when you say, if I spec this particular manufacturer, only these fields are available for me. And then these lists can get quite long. So as we're starting to fill this out, down below, we're going to see that we're going to get some more of these form fields in here and start to fill it out as we start getting this different data that gets put in here. You know, what's going on, what's being clicked in there. So we're going to get that data that's being calculated inside. But you can see how we get like these check marks that we're clicking on, and those were automatically coming through. So some of this thing was pretty easy. We hit a button, it did it. But if you get more advanced stuff, we might need to put that in the hands of an advanced user.
Yeah.
No, it's a great question. Hopefully we got a good answer on there. But you can see we got it in here. Jake, you're going to get some beer. I think you're getting beer twice. So.
I'm getting double beer.
Yeah, I'll jump in too. I'll get my beer, you get
That's
your
only
beer.
fair.
Then we'll share together. I'll provide the marshmallows, you got the hot dogs. All right, so we're good to go.
I think we're ready.
All right, so I think we're ready to actually go to buy our equipment. So we've got our list together. We put everything in here. So we're going to jump back in.
Back to our dashboard.
Back to our dashboard.
Could you just feel like, let's just say I'm an architecture or a general contractor, and this like dashboard. Why would I create one of these, and what would I want to do? Like, would it be to separate, let's say, like mechanical, electrical, plumbing drawings, or to have your specs linked in there?
Absolutely, any and all the above. A lot of times, what I've used this is for the job itself. So I might have one area where this is the current construction documents. Another one that's for specs. Another one might be to the job website that's of what's going on.
Oh, like the BIM 360 homepage?
Exactly. And then forms and fields, safety videos, things of that nature. So this could be a homepage for the whole project. What's the weather like today? Who's on the job? Link to cameras. Other types of things. So this doesn't have to be, in fact, if we wanted to see what the weather was like in the past, I could put a weather drop in here so that as we're going camping, we can find out what is the road like on I-70.
Okay.
So those types of things we can get in there, like having that direct link into everything that's part of pertaining to the job. Or this could be, like you mentioned earlier, the CD sets with architectural, mechanical, electrical, all broken out separately.
RFIs.
RFIs,
just have it
all one spot, and you can see as I'm clicking on these, I'm adding. It's going out there and opening up other PDF files or other documents. So if I come back in and I click on this little mountain, it actually goes out there. Whoops, that one might not be working right now. It'll go out there and open up a picture, open up Word, or open up whatever.
It's opened up photos on Windows 10 here, so it'll open up other applications.
Yeah, you're not just opening up PDF files. It's opening anything you want. Sweet. And we'll see that as we go along here. So I got like the hidden gems. So you click the pinnacles and go out there. So now the next is to get into our supply list.
Yeah.
We've got our supplies and we got to go shop. We got to go actually buy this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a punch walk in here. So we're going to open that up, and here we have a
this is a sporting goods.
This
store?
is a sporting goods store, a particular sporting goods store.
Yeah.
In here, we can see as we're going through this, we have our different punch walk in here. So Jake might be, he's in hunting or something like that, or men's apparel. He could go out there and pull that in. Now the nice part is, if we have this area defined in there, this space that could be inside, we can track, where this is at, the link, the status, all these different things. But we can see the spaces are in here. So as I can see that maybe I'm in guns and ammo, but if I pull myself over here into archery, it's now saying I'm under archery. And so what we have incredible. Is the ability to, as I'm doing punch walks or as I'm going into the store, it's keeping track of what section we're in. So Jake might be in men's apparel, and then Jake wanders over here in women's apparel, and all of a sudden now it's going to update and say where you're at.
So you created spaces. What's kind of like the underlying thing driving this right now?
So a couple of things. There's these hidden things inside called spaces that we can get into. So every single one of these areas is kind of outlined in that document, and you can see as I'm clicking on them, they're kind of highlighting in here a little bit on those. So if we go down to the archery one over here, it's going to light up and say that's that particular area. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the cool things, if you have Bluebeam CAD or Extreme and you're using Revit, you can actually drag the rooms directly into Bluebeam. So there's a application in there that'll allow you to drag the room information directly over, and that'll get the room name, number, whatever types of fields that you want out of it from that space data. Another thing they put in there, Jake, is that they'll actually allow you to take the room calculations. So the areas and perimeters will come directly over.
Come right with it.
If you want to. Yeah, absolutely. So you'll have that in there. So we don't have to go in and mess around with, what was defining this area, what was defining this room. Now we've got that in there. And so when you go to walk the site, you can go in there and put these punch walk items. Now I just have the punch walk items as our initials that we're shopping in here. But these punch walk items, at least the ones out of the box, they could represent like electrical wiring issue, or this thing was installed incorrectly, or something like that. And as we're going through that, we could actually take pictures to those. So I'm going to come back in here, click on this, and when I do that, I can click a picture and kind of show what was that issue that I was tracking. And obviously, as we're going through here, we're starting to track the things we're looking for our trip, our different things. So Jake, if you come in here and you wander around and you get into hunting, we could go in there and say, hey, I want to capture some data, and if we want, you got to smile. Oh, it's not working.
We're using it for our live stream.
Oh, we can't do that. I didn't think about that.
I have a technical question for you. If I were to flatten, does that make all these things go away if your document gets flattened? Do you know?
I used to know that answer. And I think they get lost. So one of the things that you can do, we're going to find out in a sec, but before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get a capture. But since we can't use our camera, I'm going to say from file here, and we're going to go in and we're going to grab this one right here. We're going to grab that one. So now we've got that picture in there that's associated.
This is a photo of my dad and I.
Yeah, there's Tony. And so Tony's going to join us on this adventure here. So hopefully Tony's out there. I don't know if he's joined us or
I think,
not.
yeah, I don't know if he has.
Yeah,
I think you have to have a YouTube account to be able to.
Oh, so that's okay. We'll talk to him later. But you can add other pictures in here. Now, some of the nice things is as you're adding these pictures, and I can't remember which one I have in here. So here's one.
This is a 360 photograph.
This is a 360 photograph in here of me sitting in this chapel, I think, lodge, and taking seeing what's going on. So you can start doing different things like that inside these areas in here, and starting to take pictures of what was going on. Here's another one when we're Olympic National Park, and we can kind of see what's going on. But the cool thing I've been using these for is like, hey, documenting what was in this space or this room. So let's say you're going to do some different types of J boxes and stuff, and you got some conduit in the wall and everything else, but you're about to drywall it, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see what was in the room before you went in and you drywalled it.
Absolutely.
Over.
We've done that for people.
Exactly.
We do that all the time.
This is like the poor man's field document.
Let's bring this in. So if anyone's familiar with the Matterport scanning technology, what we've done in the past is when you Matterport scan something, you actually get a 3D image at each thing. So we've gone through on a 2D floor plan and dropped in the 3D images at the locations, and then people can just open it up in Bluebeam.
Yeah.
And then we have a question. The tool to bring the Revit rooms into Bluebeam, is that just the Revit add-in or the Bluebeam add-in?
Yes. So the Bluebeam add-in allows you to do that. And then in the options dialog, you have the option to go in there and bring in room data and port that directly over.
Yeah. When you download Bluebeam, you'll be prompted to just install the add-in.
Yeah, so if it's not on there, what you can do is if you go to your Bluebeam administrator, which they moved. So if we open up the administrator, we're back. We're back. Yeah, hey, there we are.
So there we go.
Scary.
There are the plugins.
So there are the plugins in there, and then if we're not running Bluebeam, we just click on that, launch that, hit apply, and it's done, and then it's loaded inside of Bluebeam. Then you can go to then it's loaded into Revit.
Then you go back into, then you go.
Yeah, then you go into Revit.
You go to it.
Yeah. You guys follow us, right?
Yeah.
We've been camping. It's been rough.
Okay.
So
where to next?
Well, we have these in here. We're starting to use our little custom tool sets in here. So I've got my bookmarks that I can link inside. We can start taking pictures. We got the punch walk that we're starting to put together and starting to define, what was in the building, but we're taking that directly from the document that was created inside of Revit. And then we poured it in here. We have all this stuff. We've got it color coded. It looks really pretty, but we can follow all that in here. So that spaces is just kind of a nice thing. But we can make spaces afterwards. So if I want to, I can go in here and add a space and put it in there, give it a name. I'll just call it name for now. But now we have that in there, and then we could add things to this. Give it a different color, those types of things. So a really cool way of tracking things. And once it's done, it's in the document, people can track it and have all this data they can report back and forth.
That's awesome.
All right. So
very powerful tools.
Yeah, we've done our camping shopping list in here. We've kind of edited things. So now we're backing in here, and we're going to get into, we're going to actually go to the store, kind of go look at it real quick. So here, this one takes a little bit, but this is another way of looking at the store. We've got the game plan. We might be buying a couple of different items in here. So right now it's taking a little bit to load, but what this is we're going to be looking at, here it is. We have a 3D PDF of the model.
So what you're telling me is that this is a Revit model being completely viewed in Bluebeam by itself. All you need is Bluebeam to open this up.
That is correct. All you need is Bluebeam. You can use the free version for kind of open this up. In fact, you don't even need Bluebeam. We can embed this into a PDF file that some other people can use. And they'll have some of the data in here. So a lot of what's being tracked in here is these different things. So I've actually gone and we've got some different views in there. And if I want to, I can open this up and I can see that we got the views. We got cutaways from those different areas. So I can start to interact with this model. You can see as I start to click things are starting to turn invisible and highlight, and I get some general properties in here. But one of the cool things is this down here, this 3D model tree. So down in here, what we find is we actually have all the metadata that's coming from the Revit file.
So this is kind of like your Navisworks selection tree.
This is the poor man's Navisworks.
The poor man's Navisworks.
This is definitely the poor man's Navisworks. So as I'm coming in here, I can start to select this item in here. So if I come in here and I've got, some of the structural members in here. So I got this.
Bring you right to it.
Brings me right to it. Gives me all the data that's inside of here about whatever this particular item is. We can see the type of material it is, the structural steel material. That what's part of this. What reference level it's on, the height off that level.
So as a project manager...
I should probably move my head because I can't see that. There we go.
So I just see this as a project manager or superintendent on a job site that maybe doesn't have the computer to even run Revit or like the knowledge to do it. They can still open up a Revit file in Bluebeam and get all this valuable data just by clicking around.
Exactly. Yeah, and it makes it really easy to kind of run through this. So here, I'm going to let it play. So I've kind of set some views up, and here it's kind of running through these different views. We can cut sections in here to kind of view that model. It's running around really quick, a little, and it's a lot smoother on our end, but it's got some changes that are going on. So we can run back through all these different presets, look at the model, kind of set it up for a meeting if we wanted to, view that with our other documents. We can pull items apart to kind of see how it was constructed in here. So I'm going to pause that really quick and kind of float through some of these. So if I come back in here, I've got this one with a markup on it. So you can see that we have these, there's no nice way of saying it. See these little blue balls? Those are markups in here. So as I click on them, it's actually going to take me to that view, and it's going to take me right to that markup. So I can go to the view. I can say, hey, we got some issues in here, and I'm going to cloud that.
Add some notes.
Add some notes to it. So I might add some notes.
Broken.
Tony, this is broken, right? So we've got that in here. And if we wanted to, we can go back and we could take that picture again or set a status to this and say, this is currently a rejected item, Tony. It is broken. We need to go in and fix it. Okay, and then I might say, hey, let's go capture that and capture, and it's a picture of a fish.
It's a picture of a
fish because we're still camping, man. We got to get it out there. So he can go in there and say, this fish is broken. We need to fix this. Boy, we have some issues going on, okay? So we can see we have a status set up for that particular item. This becomes a markup. So I have to go back to my markups in here. I see that it's currently rejected by Jake because we're logged in as you right now.
This is me right now.
Okay, and then as this item gets changed in there, we can set a status and say, hey, this thing's been accepted in there or being canceled or something like that and change that status. Now, one of the things we do, we can have these markups change color. We'll get to that another time, not today, but there's ways to make the statuses change. But you can see as we're going through this, in this 3D PDF, we can be marking things up, we can be changing it in there. It makes it really nice to go back in that model. So I could go in here and let's go float through some of these other views. Here's another one for some of the markups. So this is where we go in, Jake. So when we're going in the store, we can go in here. But you'll also notice the colors change and everything else. So we have the ability to go in here and change it from perspective to an isometric view and kind of change things up the way it looks to make it look better. And we'll go floating through a couple more of these in here. That are kind of cool. And so this one we run around and now we've separated the roof. We pull the structural members off. So I pull these trusses off, pull the roof off. We're kind of looking at it a little bit more. We're pulling this model apart to see what's going on. And this is a live view, so I can still spin around and do whatever I want here.
In Revit, are you exporting a 3D view or are you exporting the project as a whole?
You're exporting the project as a whole. The only time you need to do this is when you're in 3D. So you go to 3D, you export this.
So I could turn off a bunch of things in my 3D view and then export only what I want to.
Yeah, if you hide the things that you don't need in Revit.
So it's kind of like a Navisworks export, like you keep saying.
It's a poor man's Navisworks because there's actually another part to this that I've been doing. See all this stuff over here? Well, I can enter data. So let's say that I'm clicking this particular item, this changing area, whatever it happens to be. And we can see it has a particular family room, all this stuff in here. If I wanted to, I could come in here and say, oh, you know what? I need to update this. This is a design option. And maybe I'm going to call this design option 1. I could actually enter that, and that data is changed inside of this PDF model. Now, one thing we've been working on here is I've changed this in the PDF. But you can see I still have the elemental ID number.
Can you push this back?
We can push it back.
You can push it back.
We have the ability, not everybody does, but we have the ability to push this data back from the PDF directly.
How do you do that?
Directly into Revit. Well, we got some magic we're going to have to do. I'm not prepared to do that.
Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a teaser.
I should have. It's a teaser. It's a teaser for later.
Coming soon.
If you guys want to see more of this stuff on maybe just 3D PDFs, we're going to move on. We got some camping to do.
Let us know.
And let us know. We can jump in here and do a bit more. But you can see, here's the section model. We can get into this. We can pull that section out some more and kind of see what was going on. Cut through that floor plan a bit more and just see, hey, this is the model that we're dealing with in here.
Let's go camping.
Let's go camping. All right. So now we're gonna get back in here, go to our dashboard, and we're gonna go set up camp.
We're going to the campsite.
So all right, we're gonna set up camp. This is pretty linear. All right. So here we have our beautiful camping spot. Here we got a lake.
Did you draw this?
I did. This is actually so. You may not know, I'm an architect, so I had to draw things sometimes by hand, no doubt. So here I have these trees, right? So I can put a little tree in there, and I drew this. This is a pretty little tree.
I like the shadow.
You like it? So I got the trees, the shadows. These are all things that we built, right? But we're coming to this camping site, so we're gonna show up in our truck, all right? So you and me, we're gonna go out there. Tony's gonna join us, we're gonna drive on out. All right, and
it looks like a spaceship.
It does look like a spaceship. This is plan view. You know what looks more like a spaceship is our trailer that we're pulling. It looks more like a propane tank, I think.
So,
I don't know. This is kind of got the red doors and stuff on it.
It's good.
It's good.
I have a propane tank.
You do.
This is propane,
and it's not invisible because it's red.
They told me I couldn't light it on.
We'll say that.
We'll say that at the end in case something bad happens.
But this isn't just a camping trip, Jake. This is a fishing trip. So we brought our boat too. We can pull it back here, or we're just gonna drop it. We're just gonna put it in the water.
That's useful.
Yeah. So we've got it. Our fishing boat, our little trolling motor on the front end. We got this, and the nice part is, if we click on it, this beast gets like 15 miles per gallon in a 60-gallon tank. So we got that. We got that going for us. All right, so as we're getting out there, we're just going to quickly set up tent. We need our tent.
So this is your tool chest.
Yeah.
So talk about what could be in a tool chest other than camping goods.
Other than camping goods. So if you're doing mechanical, this could be all your fire dampeners, diffusers, things of those natures you could be putting in there. We could have our ductwork put in as different sizes.
And this is custom, right?
This is custom. This for you. Anything you want. And I wanted to show people it can be anything. And that's why I chose the camping stuff. Because I'm like, we can do this. We can do anything you want. Yeah. So, the sky's kind of the limit of how to prepare this stuff in here. So I'm going to keep going. But yeah, as you're putting this in, you could drop in structural. I could put all my structural members in there and what's concrete.
Just
what's
custom tags, stamps, approval.
Stamps of approval,
stuff.
all RFI stuff, just almost anything you want. And the data can be associated with it. So if we have the ductwork in there, we can pull it in there. So I'm gonna put our campfire in there. And the nice thing is, as we're starting to build this up, we need to know that we have our clearances and stuff. So again, we've got our measure tools, and we could see, we need that range so that we're well within our fire pit here. So we got that range, safety range in there. So we can add to that as we're starting to put that.
We need to calibrate this. So we know a dimension on this. We know based on our notes that we have a 16-foot boat, right?
Yeah.
So we're in a drawing. How do we calibrate to make sure we're getting the right circumference?
That's a great question. So as we're
you can't just go for it.
Calibrate it. You got to calibrate the drawing. So if we have a known dimension, we've got our boat here that it's 16 foot, and we're on it apparently. So we need to calibrate that. So in order to get that done, we're going to go over into our tools, or we can load some kind of tool chest that has that calibration in there, or we could go to our measurements tab. Now they kind of changed this in 19 a little bit, but we go to calibrate inside, and it's going to tell us to pick 2 points to measure in between two. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick the other, and I'm going to say, hey, it says 17 feet, and that's wrong.
We know it's 16.
We know it's 16 feet. We can store it in the one page or the whole thing. So we say, okay, and now we've got that in there, and
so
then we can
measure that boat.
Yeah, so we can measure it. So I'm going to go back and measure that boat, and so I'll click from here to here, and we can see it's a 1511. They cheated us. No, there it is.
No, it's just close.
16 foot.
But you can see that it tracks it. But now anything you do on this sheet is calibrated.
Exactly. So if we want to know how far our nearest neighbor is when we're setting up our tent, we can come in here and say, oh, he's only 20.
Yeah.
20. That's pretty close, man. So we've got the ability to go in here and do that. Hey, you notice I've provided us beer for this.
I appreciate that.
So the other thing we have is these hyperlinks in here. So I can go in there and click on that. And if we want to go, to the watering hole, we can go click on that. And in this case, we've got some links that'll take us to maybe it's your company's website, or maybe it's the site of there.
BIM 360 homepage.
BIM 360 homepage. So this case happens to be one of the breweries
So this is a web browser. We're inside the internet right now.
We have gone inside the internet.
Through Bluebeam into the internet.
Into the internets. And so that allows us to go in there and kind of explore and see, what it is you want to connect to. So again, a lot of times we'll set this up for the cameras that are in the area. I got a lot of guys that work for the friends of mine that work for CDOT, and in their projects they link these to the cameras so they can see what the weather's going to be like and everything else on there. So I'm a big fan of doing that. But you also have the job site, the trailer, those types of things you can link it into, or maybe it goes to the FTP site or something like that. So you have the ability that in the tool, this isn't inside the web page now. This is one that's part of a tool that you launch in that now brings you to that website.
So you could make a little house with a link built into it that'll just bring you to your company's homepage.
Exactly.
And you can just drop it in with your tool chest.
Yep. Now another thing I like is we might be seeing different things out here. You can kind of customize this a little bit within the program. So here I've got one that as we were sleeping, Jake, we had a friend that came through. We had a bear that decided to go wandering through the park here, and so we've got these different bear tracks that are going.
So what is a job site application? I'm curious. The job site application.
So you've got different types of marks and things like that you want to indicate, or let's say that this is an 8-inch conduit. Okay. That's a huge conduit, by the way. I was thinking ductwork, and I said conduit, but it's a massive conduit. It's
so you can have the parallel lines, and you can snake them through.
Or indicate utility locations, things of that nature. But this one just happens to be a custom line type versus one that says 1-inch conduit or a 8-inch duct or whatever that is, and then we can have that track to what the value is going to be. So it'll give us a total amount of how long this was and how much area we have in here. Okay, and the other nice thing is we have all these different things in here. We've got all our trees, our bushes, everything else that we can add into the document. And one of the nice things that we can go and do with all this is I want to see what's everything that's inside this document. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create what is called a legend.
So you just right click on everything?
Yeah, I could right click on everything. There's a way to do that inside the screen, but I'm going to go in there and just drop that in, and that's going to give me my total amount of counts for what's going on inside the file. So if I come in here and I go in, you see that eight camping spots in there, and as I do that, it went to 9, and I can go back in and delete that out.
So if you're doing a takeoff on Bluebeam and you're adding check marks, it'll count those check marks. You can check every bush, every conduit, every outlet, every door, and your takeoffs will automatically fill in. Exactly. And now if you're doing, let's say you're an electrical contractor, you're counting outlets, and you can go in there and count them 1, 2, 3, 4. But Bluebeam has a way that if it's a symbol, it will go in and recognize those and count them for you. Wow.
Which is just cool. I don't have that ready to go here, but we can show that on another one for counting. Yeah, and then you have these custom count tools, and I'm just using trees and stuff, but you can have that automatically calculate that for you, and then in this legend, we can say, hey, what else do we want to see in here? Maybe we want to see the date it was created, or the depth of the rise. We want to see the total volume in here. Because I've got I got one in here. Jake, it would be really nice if we knew how much fish were in this lake, or at least how much water was in there.
I'm always wondering how much water is in the lake.
In a lake, right? So we're going to come in here, and we're just going to measure that out. And when we do that, we can see that this lake, and we got 18,000 cubic feet of
and it's still working off our calibration
it's
from
still,
the boat.
exactly. So we still have that same calculation in here, and we got the same kind of data. Now, what this is doing is it's just taking an average, I think at 15 feet is what I did for this summation. But if we were doing concrete takeoffs or something like that, we can have this go in there and
fill
do that.
takeoffs.
Fill takeoffs. And it'll do slopes too. So if you were doing a ramp that's sloping, we can have that calculate that slope value in there and add that to the total report and see what's going on. And you can see it's like customized. We got our custom fill pattern in here, that we made little wavy lines to make it look like water. But you can customize this, and that was the biggest thing I was after, was showing people that it doesn't have to be this drab thing that we're looking for. I think 2 people in this room are colorblind, so
You mean the 2 of us?
Yeah, I mean the 2 of us. So it helps to have more than just colors to identify things. We need patterns, we need lines, we need other types of things in there to kind of help us out. So it's really nice. And there's a deer again, man. He keeps coming back. So he's just bouncing around. But we're able to go in there and change these things. So not only is it color, but it's line type, fill patterns, everything else, so everybody can identify and kind of see what's going on within that area. And so as these things are updated, we can get this in here. And then so if I want to go in there, I could add this to that form in there or update that to the legend and add that to the legend. And now we have the fish, the water that's going in. And if I wanted to, I could edit the columns and add up a volume in here. So I can grab the volume in that, and then that particular one's showing the volume of that lake. And as that lake grows, or I add more things to that number's going to update automatically.
Can you export this to Excel?
Yeah. We could get these items to export Excel from down below, so we can go in here and export this list, send that out to Excel, and then have those fields dropped in there. That's a good preview.
That's a good segue.
That's a good segue. I like that. All right. So I don't know if we have any questions going on, but we're gonna go back.
We're good on questions right now. If you guys have any though, drop them in the.
Or if we
comments.
completely bored you, just add a comment. I don't know.
Say
bored. Yeah. Well, I'm having fun.
That. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
This is my favorite LABLive yet.
So now we're going back our dashboards in here, and we got to do some more takeoffs. So now it's time to go to the camping trip. We set up camp. Now we're ready to do some takeoffs.
Let's do it.
Get some actual takeoff measurements in here. So we're gonna grab takeoffs, and here we have I think it's Glacier National Park. Yeah, because there's Canadian side. So we got Glacier National Park, and look at this, Jake. We're already mapping out.
We're in Montana right now.
Yeah, we're mapping out some camping trails in here. So here I've done a little hike down inside, and I've just gone in and kind of followed this camping trail in here, and it's counting up the number of feet I have.
Oh,
okay,
so
and then we're gonna get to some of these lakes.
Let's do it.
All right. So we can go inside and say, hey, where's Jake? This is Jake's camping trail in here. So he's done some hiking in here, and down below it's going to keep track of his different hikes. But let's just say Jake wants to hike up this trail. So maybe he started down here, and we're going to not do it too... There, double click. He likes to wander, and he went 49,600 feet, and I might not be the best with math, but that seems like
far.
That's pretty far, right?
That's a good hike.
That's a good hike up to these lakes up here. So, one of the things that we can do is, let's say we're trying to do all these calculations, but we already have existing things that we're using. So one of the presents I have is I'm actually going to click on this, and I'm going to grab... Oh, come on.
So don't update.
No, I need to update. I need to update that. And you guys missed it, but I said update. So here I have an Excel format.
And you see this is Bluebeam. So you have a Bluebeam add-in.
You have a Bluebeam add-in, and I've got these things that'll link this data directly in. So as I'm going in here, and I wonder if I can get this to work. Okay, so now we're gonna split our screen a little bit. We're gonna put this down here. We're gonna put this up here, and we're gonna do some additional little hiking in here. So I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Probably move that down. All right, so we got that in here, and we're gonna get some additional hiking in here. So Jake went that way, and I'll do me. I'm not hiking.
You need to exercise.
I know. So I'm gonna come in here, go inside and click on that, and we can see that number's updating right away. And so now I've done. All right, I'll do it one more time. I need more hiking to do. So I'm gonna come inside. I'm gonna go back in. hike all the way up. I'm gonna stop right there, right? And I got that link directly in. I'm catching up to you, man. I'm catching up. We're gonna be doing that. And we can see I already had this existing Excel formula in here, and we could see
as those change,
how many miles we went, how many miles per hour we're tracking, how many liters of water we drink, how many snacks you eat. You consumed a lot of snacks, Jake.
I know. I've gone farther than you though.
Not by much though. You do a lot more snacking than I do.
Yeah.
Look at you. Obviously you can do it. I need to hike some more apparently. All right, so we got the ability to go in here and we can use our takeoffs to track how far are we going. What's the total amount of mileage, or how long the duck was, how long that trench we were trenching. I guess that's a technical term.
I'm getting really lost just in the camping story.
Just our adventure in here. So we're going in and we're hiking up, and we've got, you know what? I like, there was a lake over here I was looking at the other day. I think we should go check it out, Jake. Ooh, yeah, up here. All right.
So we're in Canada now.
No, yeah, we are in Canada. So the Canadians. Well, you're in Canada. Look at you, Jake. You're right over here.
Of course.
You're up there. You're camping. You're gonna get into these lakes. So I'm gonna go join you. Actually, let me go join you up here. So I'm gonna. I went a little too. I'm just gonna go up here. We're gonna go to these lakes. So there we are. I'm back in. Look, I'm catching up. We're
north of the wall right now. Any Game of Thrones fans?
Yep.
It's back.
So now what we can do is we can kind of see, well, we want to go fishing in these lakes. So we got to go check that out. So one of the things that we can go and do inside these lakes is we can measure that. Now, I can go back to our tool before and I can just, let's just say there's a lake, this lake right here. I can go and do this, and it'll tell me how many number of how much water was in there. So I've got this ability to go in there and drop that lake inside and see that update. And a formula that calculates the number of fish. The guesstimate of fish, depending upon the size of the lake, the volume of the lake water, and then how many fish we catch, depending upon how many fish.
So I can see this as, you have a formula saying this volume of concrete is going to need this much rebar.
Exactly. What's the volume of rebar that it covers that we need in there?
Or this length of conduit will need this many fittings, or this many segments.
Exactly.
Break it up.
Yeah.
It only goes 10 feet, and then you got to.
And then you add another one, or whatever your formula is. So we've got guys that've been using Excel for years and years, and they have all these data sets that are ready to go. We can link those directly within Bluebeam. So as you're doing your takeoffs in Bluebeam, it has that updated in here. Now we got this weird shaped lake in here, but it'd be nice to get something that kind of does it pretty quick. So we got a quick measurement. We can go in here for measurements, but one of the measurements we have that's pretty cool is this dynamic fill. So I'm going to go in here in dynamic fill, and this allows me to kind of do this paintbrush thing. So it's really cool. I go in here in that paintbrush, and I'm going to change my volumes really quick. So I'm going to get the boundary size. I'm going to draw that in there. I'm going to do the fill speed up really quick. And now, did I do the wrong one? Yeah, there we go. Boundary size. There we go. So I'm going to do that and just hold down, and it just does like that. I don't have to mess around with this thing.
What?
And then boom, and then you got that. Now, one cool thing is if you mess up, you can just hit undo and it goes back, so you can boom. So it looks at the boundaries of like the polylines and everything else that are in there to kind of set that up.
Well, what's blowing my mind right now is that this is just an image, and it's not even, it's a raster based image, and it's still.
Yeah, some magic of Hollywood was done in this. I kind of went back in. I cheated a little bit. I filled some of these areas in. Now, it will do it based on the area.
But if you have a vector drawing, you're golden.
No, well, a vector, you're golden, but here's the raster. This is all raster.
Yeah.
And if I put in there, it'll fill that in.
And you can run OCR as well
on top of this to go in and pick that up.
If you have a raster drawing or image, run the OCR on it, and then you'll be able to identify things a lot easier.
Yeah. So now that exactly, set that up, and there's ways to do that. So now we've got this in here. I have the ability to make those spaces, just to do polygons, takeoffs. What's the perimeter? So I can get just the perimeter of the lakes, or perimeter of the room, or the room would be great. So if you were doing, let's say, baseboard, and you had this complex geometry, how do you know how much baseboard you're going to be doing in that room? Well, you could do a tool like this and then say, hey, give me the amount of baseboard. What's the amount of perimeter that we have inside there? So I'm going to come inside and say, let's go get that fish volume and set that up. Hit apply, and then it's going to go in and calculate all that. And I might have did the wrong one because it didn't update. That should have updated down below. So let's hit undo. Let's do this one more time. You didn't see that. Where's that duct tape? We got to go fix that. So dude,
Got it.
You're ready to go.
I've got all the tools over here.
Oh, now it's not working on me. Come on. Of course. Where's Tony? That's good enough. We'll get in there in a second. All right, so which one was it doing? Not that one. Which, now notice there's like 10 of them in here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to find out which one is the one I want. It's under hiking. That's the one.
But if set up correctly.
Yeah, if set up correctly, hit OK, hit apply. It will update. Jeez, Brian, which one did I pick? Maybe it was this one. I don't know. There it is. That's the one I want to use. Is this guy, not that guy. So
duplicates in your tool chest could be a problem.
Could be a very big problem.
So we got to make sure you got one.
Manage your tools. We can help with that.
Yeah.
But we can also mess it up for you too. But we know what's going on.
Whatever
I know which. Yeah, exactly. Whichever direction you care to go to. But here we can see. Look at how much we did, and it's still, Jake. We still haven't caught a fish yet, man.
Yeah, why is that?
Oh man, I wonder why. So if we come in here and look at our formula, well, the formula is however big the number of fish were, which derivative of the amount of water gets us. It was a very low number.
Let's just make it 0.1.
Let's just make this a little bit better for us.
A little bit easier.
Yeah, there we go.
74.
74 fish.
That's a good day.
That's a good day. I'm down with that. Are you good with that? Celia, look at that. We can get this done. So that's how we can get in there and get the number of fish up. You know, we did a lot of hiking today. We did
a fantastic day.
We consumed a bit of snackage, and some beverages.
I'm going to the Flatirons after this.
Yeah, I think we're calling it done for the day after this, for sure. All right, so we'll close that in here. And, so that's kind of a really good thing. And just like every good adventure that you go on or everything that you go and do, you need to have the right kind of people by your sides. And if you're going camping or going hunting or going fishing, whatever, it's always good to take a guide, right? Because they're going to show you all the good spots in here. So I just want to leave you guys with this, is that, both Jake and I are happy to be your Bluebeam guides and kind of help you in that adventure and to go out in the wilderness in there. So it's good times, right? We can bring that in there for you guys.
Bluebeam is an amazing tool.
I love it.
It's as useful as you know how to use it. Like it's endless. It'll keep going and doing it for you as much as you know. It will help you, and especially, I come from a contracting background,
and I'm the evil one.
He is the.
I'm the architect.
We get along
in the
just
room.
fine now.
Yeah,
but from a contractor, it's priceless. Bluebeam.
Yeah.
Being able to use this, do the markups, it's.
Yeah. So just look, we did that form creation. We went in, we did our punch walk. We saw those elements in there. We've got the store, which always takes a little bit to load, but you could view those 3D PDFs, kind of explore the model.
That's amazing.
All these really cool things in there. Do the markups again. It's that poor man's PDF. We did our markups in there, and they can be very custom. We can count them. We can kind of review those in there, and then we went in and we did our takeoffs in the field, literally. In the field.
Do we have any final questions?
Yeah, before we bail off.
We gotta wait a few seconds.
Yeah.
This has been very fun. I've really enjoyed this. Oh, I can light my stove now.
You can. You can light your stove. Yeah. So awesome. Well, what are you doing? Oh, you're lighting the stove. I was like, what's going on here for a second? Jake. There we go. You're not even on camera with that. So
I don't think you can see it.
Yeah. So guys, I don't think you can. It's on. I can feel it right now. So thank you guys very much for joining us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'd love to be your guides into Bluebeam Revu and helping you guys get things lined up.
Add us on LinkedIn, Jake Pizarro, Brian Juge. Find us evolvebim.com
is the website. Yep.
Yeah, if you have anything, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments. Just come find us.
Find us, email us. We're happy to come out and help you guys set things up.
We love talking to you guys and helping. So,
all right.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Everyone have a great day.
Yeah. we should go camping.